Hi, this is Wendy Darling, and it's been about 2 months since a tornado hit my neighborhood in downtown Atlanta, Georgia. These are pictures that I took the next day. I went out by myself and also later with friends to look at some of the damage. We'd actually gone out that night for 2 or 3 hours to look at the damage immediately after it happened, but it was dark and it was wet, and eventually the authorities started running around with bullhorns and megaphones telling people to get off the street because it was a disaster area, and it really was a disaster area. Here are pictures which I've posted other places, but I wanted to show them as a movie. Right here you'll see the Equitable Building, which is, I think, a 34-story skyscraper. It's a couple blocks from where I live, and apparently it got like a direct hit from the tornado at one point. It was like in the middle of it, and it lost a lot of windows. And 2 months later, it's still missing many, many, many windows. They've been filled in with kind of like white plastic or something, and there is scaffolding all along the base of the building to protect people walking by from potential falling glass, and to protect, I guess, the workers who are working to replace the glass. Here I was trying to show the Kinko's, which became an indoor-outdoor Kinko's and was closed for 5 or 6 days, I think, afterwards. Here's a view looking towards the Georgia Pacific Building, the Equitable Building, and a parking deck. And that's a picture taken from Centennial Park. This is the Georgia Pacific Building, which is still undergoing repairs, and it too was really surrounded by scaffolding still. And here's the Westin Building, or the Westin Hotel. It's the tallest hotel in the world, and it's the most obviously tornado damaged building in downtown. You can see it from everywhere, and it actually looks a lot worse now than it did at the time. I guess a lot of the windows that were broken, you couldn't even really tell they were broken, but over the course of time, all the windows that have had any kind of crack or totally disappeared have been replaced with these big, like, black plywood or black something covering the windows, and it is just pockmarked now. It looked pretty bad the day after, because, I mean, you could see the curtains shooting out, and you really, worried, but it looks a lot worse now. This is Centennial Tower, which is on Marietta Street, and it's still under repair as well. Now, here I have a bunch of shots which are less dramatic, but they're kind of trying to show the debris that was on the street. There was glass everywhere, especially around the Equitable Building, which has this sort of like brown or black glass. It was everywhere. This is a barber shop over on Cone Street, and this is an example of the kind of debris that was around. That was actually something that came off of the roof of the Tabernacle. There was a lot of sort of rooftop stuff that blew off, things like gutters. There's some more gutters. This is near the Omni Hotel, I think. Yeah, it is. Awnings are ripped off hotels. There were also a lot of people just generally who were in hotels who were really affected by the storm. This is the Flatiron Building. It's one of the oldest buildings in downtown Atlanta, and it lost a piece of its cornice. I actually see this out my window every day and wonder when they're going to fix it. This is an example of like kind of damage buildings got. This was caused by a piece of flying debris which hit into the side of one of the residential buildings and gouged a hole in it. This is a broken door. I think this is the broken door of the YouTube video I just watched. This is an example of a residential building. In the interior courtyard, a bunch of windows got sucked out, and on the outside of the same building, which is on Lucky Street, here you can see the windows broken. And actually 2 months later, this entire side of the building pretty much just has plywood windows. They are in the process of replacing the windows and going through the insurance process, but here, even day after, you could kind of get an impression. This is a law office on Lucky Street, and you can see the Georgia Pacific Building with the holes in it in the background. And here is the Tabernacle, which is a big entertainment venue. It's an old Baptist church, and it got totally thrashed. It had a lot of broken windows. I mean, and this is nearby. There was this guy who was rescuing his car, which had been crushed by a building which fell. I think I show the building a little further down. This is a billboard along Centennial Park Drive. There were all these big billboards, and they all crashed, and a whole bunch of them crashed actually on parked cars. And luckily no one was hurt or injured, but it looked pretty dramatic. Here's a big billboard across the street from CNN Center. It's usually a big ad for either Fox News or CNN, and it's not an ad for anything now. Here's an example of something you don't want to see when you get back from the game you've just watched at the Georgia Dome. Yeah. Here's a parking deck. It's a really old parking deck on, I think, Spring Street, and it lost lots of its windows. And I guess the cars in there got damaged. This is a big billboard with a jumbotron and a clock that's on Marietta Street. Right now, like, it's pretty much half dismantled still 2 months later. This is showing the roof damage on the Tabernacle. It had a lot of property damage. And this is right near the Tabernacle, and you see CNN Center and the Omni in the background, and again, like, this is all billboards that have fallen down. And these are pictures of Centennial Park, and this looked really, really scary the night of. My friends and I went to the park, and we were just staring and staring, because there are these big light poles that look like big torches, and they're lit up, and they had just been thrown there like matchsticks. And here is CNN Center and the Omni Hotel, and as you can see, the building doesn't really have a lot of windows left. And even now, this is really still totally under repair, because it takes a while to replace all these windows. You have to special order them, and you have to go through insurance. Pretty much most of the guests lost their rooms that night. Well, it seems I've come to the end. Hope you've enjoyed.